Okay, welcome everybody. The job I chose for this is a linguistic data scientist. So I chose a linguistic data scientist because my major here at Snow College currently is languages and linguistics, and I want to take it even farther, and I hope to teach English abroad after I graduate. And I'm hoping to go even farther than that, and hope to maybe even start my own language business or um, to teach linguistics at a university level. So I think a linguistic data scientist kind of ties into that. And also, I think this meme is really funny. Okay, so what is a linguistic data scientist and what do they do? So, linguistic data scientists are specialists that use language and data science. So, one way they do this is by analyzing language data. So, one way they do this is looking at text and speech, and they look at pattern and grammar and meaning. And another way is they build part of speech tags, syntax trees, and semantic labels. And I have a little bit of experience doing this in one of my linguistics classes. So I think that's it's kind of interesting. We won't really go into that as much though. Another thing that they do is develop language aware machine learning models, which I think is really interesting. So uh, part of this is they work with speech recognition and they work with translation apps too, as well as chatbots. So I know right now, recently, it's becoming more common and popular to um, use apps and websites to help people learn language. So they help make those things such as uh, Duolingo. So I think that's really interesting and cool. This is also really funny to me. This meme, um, just for a little context, they're using the IPA alphabet, which is something I you will learn in a any linguistics class. So uh yeah. Okay, next. So how does how does a linguistic data scientist use math? So the biggest thing they use is statistics. A lot of the time, linguistic data scientists will conduct research, and most of you know that whenever we are conducting research or even reading research papers, there's always statistics. So that's like the big thing here. So they use statistics by measuring patterns in language. So for this, they're using statistics to help quantify things like how frequency, how frequently words appear and how often grammatical structures occur. And another way they use statistics is when they conduct tests. So I think most of you guys probably think of like tests or hypothesis when you think of research. And research and statistics really go hand in hand together. So they can use and conduct tests to receive statistical data. So one example of this is taking word choice between certain age groups. So they can see what word choices are being most frequently used between different age groups. And I think that's really interesting. Another way they use statistics is to by monitoring language change or user behaviors. So this kind of goes into the test, but um, for this one, they can see what slang is becoming more frequent or emerging and how people interact with chatbots. So yeah, let's go on. So I asked my linguistics professor, how have you used statistic? Oh, sorry, I don't know what I said, but I asked my linguistics professor how he uses statistics um, in linguistics. And he said when I did my PhD, there was a lot of math involved because we read a lot of quantitative research articles. You need to understand the statistics and use statistics software. We use descriptive statistics to show mean, median, variance, standard deviation, range, frequencies, etc. We also use probability and distribution, inferential statistics, multivariate statistics, and reliability and validity. So there's kind of a lot going there. We won't really go as much into that, but I will explain a little more of this further on. I also asked my mom, who happens to be a statistics professor, and she's also a professor. So although she's not a linguistics professor, I wanted to ask her how she uses statistics for research, which research is used from linguistic data scientists. So she said it helps you look at data and decide whether two factors are related. So anytime linguistic data scientists are conducting statistical research, I think that is really interesting to understand is when they look at two things and see the relationship between those two factors. So yeah. So I found this video to kind of help you guys understand in um, a kind of a different way of seeing it. Although, unfortunately, this video does not have audio working while I record on Zoom. So I'm hoping it'll work for me to share the video underneath my YouTube link. So uh, please check out this video because I think it really helps understand linguistics and statistics. I think it's really interesting. So I'll try to add this video underneath my YouTube link. So along with the video, another way, oh, another way I wanted you guys to really understand this job is by doing our own experiments. So I just used ChatGPT for this, and I asked, hey, can you make me a simple experiment to use for a class to help understand the relationship between linguistics and statistics? So the question we're looking at here is how can we use statistics to find patterns in language like word frequency or letter frequency and make simple conclusions from that? So first thing we want to do is choose a text. So it can be a short paragraph from a story, article, or even, a quote from a movie. But in this case, we're just going to just use one sentence or two sentences, sorry, just simple. So the sentence is, cats are wonderful pets. They purr, they play, and they can be very independent. Many people love having cats in their homes. So the second step we want to do is count the words and mark a tally for how frequently the words appear. So cats, we can see it appears twice in the sentence, once in the beginning and once in the end. We also have the word they, that also appears twice. Or we have once, per is once, and play is once. So after we know that, we take the count of the word divided by the total number of words. So in this case, we're using cats, which appears twice out of 19 words. So we take 2 divided by 19, which gives us 0.105, which is also 10.5%. So the word cats appears 10.5% of the time in this sentence. So next step is making a visualization, which we are going to skip in this experiment, but many linguistic data scientists will go ahead and do that step. But next, they're able to discuss and ask questions like which words are most common and why. So in this sentence, we know cats is most common, but why? So that's also another interesting thing to think about. And are these words content words or function words? So that's kind of the end of this simple experiment. But you guys can do this also anytime. If you're ever looking at a sentence or paragraph, you can also try doing this on your own. All right, so that conducts my presentation. These are the sources I used, and feel free to ask questions. Thank you so much for your time.